I'm still laughing over the comments. I really appreciate the feedback. Thanks so much. In this episode, since last week we talked about versioning with Subversion or SVN, this week we're going to talk about versioning with Git. In the past, I've stated quite often that I use Git as my external versioning platform. I primarily focus on exporting my XML into a local file share and then a network file share when I want to collaborate. And so this is pretty much what I've done in my case tools, my modeling tools, especially Spark, over a decade or so. And the thing about doing model-driven development is that you're actually designing and developing pseudocode or code itself in Sparx to share with your developers. And your developers, of course, are working in their IDE, their integrated development environments, and that's where they're managing their code. Now, there should be a docs folder there inside their repository or maybe outside of it, connected via whatever versioning software they're using. And most developers, if not all, are using Git. I'm trying to think, are there any that are using SVN or something else? I probably have one shop that's using Team Foundation Server, Microsoft TFS, but that's about it. It's pretty much Git. And we'll talk more about it as we get into it. So let's get started, okay? Here in this project, we're going to use these elements in this package. We created this last week when we did an early adopter. And I export the XML to a local file share. And that local file share can be in my Git repository, and that's what we're going to demonstrate today. I'm going to start this episode with some assumptions, pretty much like we did for Subversion. Number one, I'm not here to teach you how to use a version control platform, but I assume you have Git installed and that you have a file share for that Git repository repo. Now, this is optional. We're going to talk about in this video. Tortoise also has a TortoiseGit, and there's some advantages on your client machines, but it's not necessary, in my opinion, but of course requires some expertise in managing versions, managing files in and through Git. And of course that you have an integrated development environment, an IDE, and we're going to use Visual Code today. I have many IDEs that I use depending on the development shop that I'm working with, but those are the main assumptions that we're going to make. Now, with Git installed, you get some tooling, and one of them is called Git GUI. All right, so in Git GUI, you can create new repositories, you can clone existing repositories, you can open an existing repository, and there's a feature in here, Open Recent. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Open Recent. So when we open Recent, we get this dialog box here. And we had recently exported the XML for this search hyperlinks package. And there's all sorts of things we can do. Again, I'm not here to teach you how to use Git, but we can see that we have unstaged changes that are in here. And for us to commit this to the repository, we're going to need to stage changed. So we come down here, stage change, stage 1, untracked files. Yes, please. And now it is staged. Now it's moved from here, the current branch master, to this stage folder. And we can rescan, look for changes and things like that that are taking place. And then we're able to commit. So we provided a comment in here, and now we're going to commit. And there we go. It has now been committed. In your file repository, you can see we've got our XML checked in and committed. And you're able to right click on this and take advantage of TortoiseGit, which gives you all of the tooling that we talked about in SVN for managing your file using Git commands. Makes it real easy for stakeholders that don't have access to command line, don't know how to use command line. Gives you a UI that helps you do a lot of the Git commands. You're able to look at diffs, and we don't have any changes. We just check this in. You can view the log. You can look at the revision graph and so much more. Now, as I've stated in previous videos, I use my own IDE, and for this demonstration, I'm just going to use a blank Visual Studio Code, or what I refer to as Visual Code. And let's just go to the source control, Control-Shift-G, or just click on it. And we can see here that we have access to our Git repository. And here we have a README file. I can select it and I can view and edit it in my IDE. We just checked in this XML for the project that we're working on, and I probably wouldn't be doing any editing here unless I really knew what I was doing, but allows you to view it and do other things. We're back over in our project here. Let's go ahead and make some changes. We're just going to add a class element in here. We're not going to do anything with it. We're going to hit save, and then we're going to hit Control, Alt, and E to export it. However, what I always recommend is before you do an export, do a baseline. So we're going to do a baseline even though we've already had that in. There's no baseline that's here, so we're going to do a baseline 01. We'll go ahead and leave the note in there, take it as default, and this is baseline. And at that particular point, I would hit Control, Alt, and E to bring up export package to native XMI file. And we're using native XML. And it already knows the path and course that we're going to go because that's the last one we did. We're going to go ahead and export, and it is done. In our Git GUI, we're going to rescan, and here is the next version. We're going to go ahead and stage this. All right, now it's been loaded here and added class 1. And so now that one's been done. Let's roll back over to here. And let's go ahead and see the XML that's been in here. Let's expand the tree. You can see here, if you mouse over it, telling you this was modified. This one's indexed. Let's go ahead and add this. And then in your scroll bar, you can see that we had class 1. That's the diff between the original and the one that we just added. You go down here. Other things that have been changed, you can see in the scroll bar, the indicators, just like when you're coding, what changes you made. And it's just basically some metadata relevant to the changes that we made. Back over in our project model, let's add a couple of more. I'm going to add 2 classes in here, maybe a connection between these two in here, just an association. I'm going to save. Then we're going to hit Control, Alt, and E, and we're going to export this again. Now, I can baseline before I export, which is a good practice, or I can export, and then before I make any changes, I come up here, Control, Alt, and B, and then create a new baseline, rather. It's a new version. 02, I'm just going to accept the notes. Normally, I would type a message in there. And that one's done. So we'll go ahead and close this. And now this one has been exported to our file share, our repo. If we go to that file share, we have a different icon. It's not the green check mark. That there's been a modification to this file. And we will go to the Git GUI. We'll do a rescan. There it is. It sees it. What we're going to do is stage the change. We're going to get a warning message here. That's okay. We're good. Just go ahead and continue. Then what we're going to do is select this right here. And we are going to put in a comment, version 02. Put as much as you want in there. Just don't type a long message, War and Peace. Keep it very short. Try to keep it under 255 characters if possible. And let's go ahead and commit. So that has been committed just like that. We're back over in Visual Studio Code. Really like to call it Visual Code. Too many syllables, right? And we're going to hit the Explorer. Here's the file that we were looking at. Here we go. Now what we're going to do is go to source control, and then we're going to make sure version 02 is right there by me. And let's look at it. You can see that classes have been added. Let's see here. Let's make sure we're on the modified. Yep, modified, modified, and then index added. So this is when it was added, right? So what we want to do is let's look at this version, and then let's look at modified, right? Then we're able to see class element. Let's just use the scroll bar down here. Another class element. Here, another class element with a connector. This is the connector. All of the metadata. Then down here, some other metadata. And then down here, what do we have down here? So when you learn how to read the XML, you can very easily see the changes that have been made, because this will become like you reading any words in your language. This will be very easy for you to go through and parse and understand the changes, the diffs between various versions. Let's go back to Sparx here, and we're on our package. And if you've been baselining, we hit Control Alt and B to bring up the baseline dialog box. I want to show the differences between 01 and 02. And I can run this and it'll go through everything that's green is new, everything that's blue is changed, and then there's other color index that you learned in the channel when you're doing compares or diffs. So here I can very clearly see connectors. I can see elements very clearly. A lot easier to do than trying to view XML. So I just want to summarize by, there is a reason to use an external version control platform like Git, and then it's really not necessary in my opinion. I only do it when I am building out source code for other design artifacts. So if I'm working with a development team and we're going through design together and block diagrams, class diagrams, and more, and I'm generating code from those, that I would then use those models to check into their repository so that they're able to incorporate within their design development. With Sparx, there's a lot of different XML. There is reference data transfer. This is an XML file for sharing your reference data. You've learned that in the channel. If we go here, let's go ahead and launch the SQL for this, that there is a way to export your search. You can go down and find whatever the search that you want to export. And that is XML, and there's so much more. So there's various types of XML that you can export from Sparx that you may or may not need to put into a Git repository, for example. And you can do all of these changes within Sparx. You can, if I go into here again, let me go ahead and close baseline because I want to do it from the very beginning. So I'm on the package here and I want to look at the baseline. Let's look at the dialog box. I can export my baselines and I can compare those files and I can fall back much easier than Sparx than falling back to an XML file in a Git or a subversion or TFS repository. So I'll leave it up to you. I just wanted to share Git as a version control method and set of practices in using Sparx, using computer-aided software engineering and modeling. All right, we're going to wrap up now. I hope this video was helpful for you. This is a complicated subject to some if you are not responsible with the versioning repository or platform that you're using, such as Git. And I just want to state some practices. I'm going to do a couple of videos. One are practices for model administrators. I really can just say desktop administrators, and best practices for users. We'll do those separate videos, but make sure you have some practices that are in place that make it easy for you to understand the XML files that you're dealing with. Let me know if there's any questions or concerns down below in comments. I'll try to cover them. Didn't want to spend a lot of time on versioning software, but versioning practices I think are important, and I have covered those a great deal in this channel in many other topics. So until that next episode, thanks for watching, and until the next one, happy modeling.